So, you've seen a lot of stuff as you've become an overlander and gone out and you've experienced a lot of different things. As an overlander or as you go out and overland, how has overlanding changed your perspective on travel and the outdoors in general?
I don't know if it's changed my perspective, because I've always been an outdoor person, and we've been blessed to travel a lot, just vacations and what have you, traditional stuff. It's really getting out deeper into the locations where there's no one there and all you can hear is the sound of your voice. It's relaxing. It calms the crazy chaos that we have every day. I'm still working full time, and that's why a little pun on 5 to 9. I work 9 to 5, so I venture 5 to 9. So that's kind of the pun of my site. But there's so much to see out there around every turn, beautiful views, and then the people that you come across out there or go with you, it just makes for more rewarding adventure and building those relationships.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Many of us, we have our full time careers. We work Monday through Friday, and the hustle and bustle of life, and just life gets chaotic and hectic sometimes. And just being able to take that time, whether it's after hours or on the weekends, and just decompress and look at all of the amazing things that are out there and go adventure and try new things and meet, like I said, like-minded people who are also looking to decompress and learn and get out there and, do different things. That is so important for us as humans to be able to do that. So, if anyone who's watching this, if there's one thing to really take away from all of this, is that you need to take that time for yourself and really just get out there and, get some fresh air and learn new things and take on some new adventures and just get away from all the craziness that life can throw at us sometimes.
100%. And I've been the benefit of that. I've come back to work more refreshed after, even though it was a crazy weekend and we had fun doing things or recovering vehicles. But when I got back, I was able to disconnect, and then I was just more focused at work.
Yeah.
Mainly looking forward to the next adventure, but
right. Yeah.
but you have to, self-care is critical, and this is part of that.
So as an overlander, we talked a lot about recovery gear and making sure that, you are set up so that if anything bad happens and, you can kind of get yourself out of that. But outside of the recovery gear, what other essential gear and equipment should overlanders have whenever they are going out?
There's a whole laundry list, and I say that because, I drive a full-size vehicle. I can take the whole garage. And I have.
Right.
I can take the barbecue pit. I can take it. I can take everything, and it's too much. I'm narrowing it down, and this is an evolution. It's in progress. That and it's site specific or adventure specific. You plan where you're going, know where you're going. You definitely need food, water, and shelter. Those three are critical, and you can get those right out of your garage. Like you said, if someone's starting, usually a tent, a sleeping bag, and water. Those are the essentials, and then just plan the adventure. The farther you're going out into, off the grid, you're gonna have to start thinking about gas, fuel, a bigger method of containing your food and keeping it fresh. Then also, as you get more advanced or you want to get more into technology, you have a second source, battery source. I use a Jackery, which is
Jackeries are fantastic.
Fantastic things. They take it off my vehicle. I'm not using the main battery for most of my stuff, so it doesn't drain it. So I'm not waking up to a dead battery, which I do carry. A jump starter. That's another important thing too. Not just jumper cables. You need those new devices, and they sell them everywhere, that would jumpstart your car, in case something does happen. And I have used it. You're
not going to get AAA out in the middle of the woods.
You're
somewhere.
not. If you are, it's very expensive AAA. But it's the shelter, water, food is the critical things that you got to think about, and then proper clothing.
Yeah.
Again, I say it's site specific. If you're going for a short trip, you don't need as much as that stuff. I found myself tending to overpack. I bring a whole suitcase, and over the course of days, I don't use half of it,
Right.
and that's
Do you have to
weight.
ever, when you go out, do you ever have to worry about like wild animals, bears or cougars or anything like that?
Good question. Yes, good point. I do carry bear spray, so various items like that. Um, you do, if you're going deep, you got to be mindful. You got to be mindful of the regulations, especially if you're in a park or back. Storing your food in proper containers. Airtight containers. So you want to read and check up where you're going and all the requirements for that area. And that's just not just because it's a park. It's safety. They can,
Yeah.
bears can smell toothpaste. They can smell anything small that they'll smell it and they'll take your door off. I've seen a few, but nothing too that they were threatening or not. They're just curious. And usually if you make enough noise and know that you're coming and you don't surprise, and that's any animal that you don't surprise them, they don't want to be around you. But yeah, carrying that, I do carry protective stuff such as bear spray, and what have you. I do carry like a loud horn, like an air horn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea.
It's small. It's right in my door. So if like a bear or a cat, it's loud enough, and then just spooks them enough. And those are cheap little items you can get at any, store.
Yeah. That's a good idea. So what's the future hold for you as an overlander? What do you want to plan on doing with your Silverado?
Yeah, I got a couple more things in terms of the build. You hear the story; it's never ending, and that's true.
Right.
It's always evolving. I like where I'm at right now with what I got on my vehicle. What I'm looking for in the future, since I added the winch, it added a little more weight to the vehicle. So suspension, it's still on stock suspension, which is very capable.
Yep.
It's an off-road suspension, but I want to go with a little more robust suspension, and then a secondary charging, like a Red Arc system that is separate, lithium batteries in the back. And I got the room to do it. So I'm lucky I could put a nice little system in there that would power all my, camp equipment where it's not tied to the truck. I would only use lighting for, when I'm in motion that would power into that type of equipment. And then what I got trips planned, or I'm leaving to Anza Borrego for 2 weeks. It's kind of a work trip. I can work from home. So we use Starlink, and my wife and I can work off of that. I am pulling a trailer though, so all disclosure, we do pull a travel trailer. But we're staging, and then I'm going out, on the weekends, in Anza Borrego. And then, I mentioned to you, I think earlier, I'm going, looking forward to going to the Overland Expo in Pacific Northwest. So I'm thinking about 2 weeks. I'm going to work my way up the Eastern Sierras, which is 395 in California, all the way up to East Oregon, and do a lot of camping along the way there, overlanding along the way there, and videotaping all that.
We're looking forward to seeing some of your adventure insights from that trip. And Overland Expo is great. They have multiple expos all over the country, and they put on a really, really good show. And anyone who's watching this, if you guys want to meet Sean at Overland Expo, you can reach out to him through E3 platform, or you can follow him on social media, and you can reach out to him, hang out, learn some things from him, and just do a meet and greet and have a good time at the show together.
Absolutely.
So so as you do your trip, and you record a lot of it, we're looking forward to being living curiously through you as you go through this adventure. And we're seeing more and more people that are getting into overlanding, and we also see that there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of off-roaders who like to overland, overlanders who like to off-road, and even camp. People in our camping platform, a lot of campers are looking to get into it as well too. So it's an exciting industry. It's an exciting, I guess if you want to call it a sport, I don't know, but it is exciting, and it's an excellent way of being able to just get away from the craziness of life and decompressing and just meeting other people and just having a really good time in the outdoors. So anyone who is interested in getting into off-roading, overlanding, camping, just what I always say is just do it. Take that first step and just go right into it. Yeah, let's do it.
And you can you can find a lot of stuff just in your own hometown, a lot of little roads that you never thought of.
Yeah. And you said, even if someone who wants to go to a campground, there are so many campgrounds everywhere, from small local ones to large national ones. Anybody can just go right in and they can start boondocking. They can pitch a tent. They can kind of go into that and just see if it's something that they really enjoy. And then if they do love it, then they can keep going and take those next few steps and get themselves a rig and build out the rig. And there's people who put a lot of money in the rigs, and so that it's built for sustainability. But even if you just want to start out and just have the basics, it's very, very easy to do.
Very simple to do. Exactly.
And you're a perfect example. You don't need a Jeep or a Ford Bronco or a Tacoma or anything. You can just, if you got a truck, you can do it.
You can, and yeah, absolutely.
So
it's a little wider, but I like comfort. And those vehicles are very capable.
So, and you've got a Trail Boss, which is nice because it comes directly from the factory, built up a little bit. We just did a podcast with Eric, one of our other ambassadors, who does have a Ford Bronco, but he bought his Ford Bronco, the Badlands edition, and it comes from the factory all set up for being able to go off-road and doing some things like that. So it's always nice whenever you can buy a vehicle that's sort of already set up for a lot of that stuff, because then it saves you a little bit of money where you don't have to source all the parts when you're building a vehicle that doesn't have the capabilities right off the bat. So having something that does have some nice suspension, it's got the room, and it's got the suspension and all the different things that allow you to go out on trails, that makes things a lot easier.
It definitely does. And you're right, the market in automobiles in this area is, they're starting to listen to their customers, and you're seeing them ready to go, right off the lot for the most part, which is nice. Like you said, if you can get a lot of stuff done on it already, to get you to pretty much anywhere. So if you want to start rock crawling and stuff, that's a little different. Different.
Some of those guys are going up sides of mountains.
It's incredible.
Those are hardcore people.
Yeah.
And hey, we've got members that are all into that. They build their stuff out, and they are pretty wild when it comes to the off-roading world. But I would say a vast majority of our members are the people that are the weekend warriors. Their rig might be their daily driver, and they take it to work and back, or to go get groceries or whatever, but then they also use it to go out on the weekends and have some fun. So I think that's always an exciting thing whenever you can get a multi-use out of your vehicle.
It is, and I drive mine to work too, so so it is a daily driver.
Sean, thank you very much for taking some time to chat with us today. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, hit that link on the screen, e3offroad.com/Sean, and you can use promo code E3TeamVIP to get 20% or 25% off of any membership. That link helps Sean out a little bit. If you want to help him be able to go out and adventure and do some cool stuff, then definitely use that link. And then also make sure that you are following him on all of his social media. You can find him 5 to 9 Adventure. And when you go into the member platform, you can read about him. You can see him in our magazines, and you can see some videos, and you'll be able to follow along with some of his adventures. And as we do more and more events in 2024, we'll be starting to do more events out in his area, out in the West Coast. So if there are anybody on the left coast that want to meet with Sean and hang out with him, go on some trail rides, go overlanding, go on to some of the expos and events, then by means, definitely reach out to him or sign up and become a member today, and you'll be able to take advantage of all that. So thank you, Sean, once again. And we are looking forward to all of your adventures and everything that's happening with you, and working with you as one of our awesome E3 ambassadors.
Same here. I appreciate it, Josh.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, we'll talk to you again soon.